two places that you can get academic funding for graduate school: internal and external. And today we are discussing their similarities and differences. External awards are often grants that are associated with big names and even bigger money. But that's not always the case. In reality, an external grant or an external award is just grant monies that are being provided outside of your university. And that means it can be any third-party entity, from nonprofits, for-profits, other organizations, and even possibly other universities. It's also worth noting that external grants, because they are provided by third-party entities and generally open to more graduate students, researchers, or independent scholars, they are oftentimes more competitive because it's just way more people applying for the same amount of money or award. Internal awards or internal grants are grant monies that are provided by your institution, your university or organization that you are associated with. Now, oftentimes people feel uncomfortable about applying to internal grants because they're often perceived as less prestigious or lowered amount of money. But that's not always true. Internal grants can be as little as $100, but I have even seen them reach upwards to $30,000 and even $40,000. So don't just go and avoid internal grants because you think it may not pay off in the end. At the end of the day, free money is free money, and whether it's internal or external, what's most important is to make sure you are paying attention to who is providing it, what is their mission, what is your eligibility, and how much money are they going to give you if you win? Now, going back to the conversation of prestige. Yes, in general, many external grants are perceived as more prestigious. And this is because since they are more competitive, because more people are applying to them, when you win those awards, you are understood to be a more advanced, competitive applicant. And when people see those names on your CV, they understand that or understand you and your work as such. But I do think it's important to say that doesn't mean there are no internal grants that are prestigious, or even if prestige should be your focus when you are applying to grants. So yes, one component of prestige is competitiveness, but that's not the most important part. Many times, prestigious awards or well-recognized awards come with a lot of benefits. So if you are applying to an internal grant and it is providing you similar benefits, training, support, and resources, then that would also be considered a prestigious award, even though it's not as competitive as the external grants that you have maybe been applying to. So in addition to how much money they're going to give you when you win, you also want to see, are there any fellowship opportunities that are focusing on your academic training? Is there mentorship, publishing support? Are there travel resources or other types of resources or support infrastructures to help you as an academic progress through your research or academic career? It is also important to see if your grants or your fellowships have networks of mentorship. So even when you're finished with your grant year, you can continue to call on these people or reach out to these networks to continue to advance your academic career. I also want to make sure that I say that just because an award is external, it also doesn't mean that it is more competitive. There are also a lot of third-party entities that are not that competitive and that many people don't even know about, which one could be great for you to win smaller or less competitive awards, but they may not carry as much weight on your CV as other internal awards that are more recognizable within your field. So again, it's not as simple as external is better and internal is better, but rather being aware of what exact grant or fellowship you're applying to, what are the benefits that they're offering, and how does that look to your community or your discipline or field. Now, while I just did spend a good amount of time talking about prestige, it's important to say, even if all you do is win smaller, less competitive grants, or smaller, less financially abundant grants, that's not all bad. And that's because, well, yes, money is just money. And a lot of times, if you are an academic, in order to build towards these larger, more prestigious grants, it really helps to have smaller, less prestigious grants on your resume or CV. And that's because a lot of these grant or fellowship reviewing committees are looking for people whose research has been corroborated, supported, vouched for. And the easiest way to see if somebody else thinks your research is good is to see that other people are giving you money to do it. So even if they're smaller, lesser known grants or fellowships, always take pride in what you've earned and put it on your CV, because smaller grows and grows and grows to eventually be big and prestigious. And again, I cannot mention this enough. Winning money is money. 10 500 grants is better than one $2,000 grant. So I say all this to say, don't avoid smaller, lesser known grants, but also don't avoid bigger, more competitive grants. Applying for grants should be a holistic process where you're piecemealing everything together with the hopes of creating the most diverse dossier of one, financial support, and prestige and mentorship. Now, it doesn't actually matter if it's an internal grant or an external grant. The next thing you need to know is how to write a good, competitive application so you can start winning these grants. And that's exactly why I made this video here. So you should probably head to it next. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.